just adjusting. Hello, everyone. How are we all doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing well. Oh, my goodness gracious. I just killed the volume on my phone. Here we are. Okay, so before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. Um, if you cannot follow those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue will boot you out of here because we are not going to tolerate that. So, thank you very much. And JJ, just what we have talked about in the past, if you see that, if you would take care of that for me, that would be awesome. And thank you very much. I know you're on top of it. So, well, welcome. So it's so weird. Okay, cool, JJ. Thank you. This is so weird. I honestly, with this situation where there was this big announcement, the president is going over to Israel to show support for Israel, and I'm like, there's a video that I'm going to do tomorrow that is talking about that situation and what I think may be going on. I definitely want you guys to watch that video. That'll be going up at 3 o'clock. I actually moved videos. I had videos scheduled to go up, but I moved them. So I want you guys, if you would like to watch that. And I don't want to get into a lot of that, but we will get into him going over there, and all that type of situation. So, but so here our government goes over, and there's a couple of things that I find interesting at the same time. All right, and tell me, maybe I'm completely off base with this. I don't know, but Biden goes over, talks with Netanyahu, and all of a sudden now they're going to let the humanitarian aid go into Gaza. The hostages are still hostages. I'm sorry, but to me, if the hard line was no aid goes in to Gaza until the hostages are released, that's how it should be. And whoever suffers, that's on Hamas's hands, not on Israel's hands. And if I'm wrong on that, then Compton Moon, yeah, I agree with you on that. It almost felt like, okay, that almost felt like a setup to me when that whole thing was going on. Because why would you announce that so publicly? Here we are. We're on our way to Israel. So if you're an enemy and you want to try to kill the president, here we are. You know what I mean? Well, a photo op is one thing, but they could, he could have snuck in with nobody knowing, met with them, and then they throw the pictures up after he's on the airplane going back. So there was something more to this whole thing. And so anyway, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, and it's in the title of this stream, so I imagine you probably looked into it, I would imagine. $100 million of aid going to, over there, supposedly for the people. You and I both know that whole $100 million is not going to go to the people. And why are we giving them $100 million anyway? Weren't they the ones, right, that attacked Israel and did this in the first place? It is so ridiculous to me, especially when we have our own issues in our own country. Wouldn't $100 million do a lot more good, let's say, here in the United States of America, where we have our own problems and we have our own issues? I'm like, and again, let's be honest, okay? These are people over there in the West Bank. They hate us. They hate Israel. So I don't care how much money you shower on these people. They're going to laugh at us. They're going to take our money, and they're still going to hate us. Does that make any kind of sense? Yeah, we already gave Ukraine $150 billion. Yeah, that's insane too, Larry. You're right. That's absolutely insane as well. I'm just like, I'm so disgusted and so sick of the politics and the pressure And I'm sure pressure was exerted on Netanyahu about not letting humanitarian aid in. But, it's just Janet Yellen said we can afford both wars. Unbelievable. Oh, we give Israel a ton of money every year. So Robert says, I'm so tired of of our government sending our tax dollars to these other countries. Yeah, and then along with that, Robert, we go deeper in debt in this country that's never going to be paid back, realistically. Um, Ed, are you with Israel or Palestine, Ed? I've already openly talked about that. I believe that Israel has the right to defend itself and have revenge, if you will, for what Palestine did. So if that makes me on Israel's side, then it makes me on Israel's side. I don't have a problem admitting that. I don't have a problem saying that. Um, if somebody came into my neighborhood, excuse me, if somebody came in my neighborhood and cut the heads off of children, beheaded little children, all right, killed people just because they could and get away with it, I would want to have some payback. Okay. And I think most people, honestly, would have the same thing with that. So, it's not about Hamas or Israel. Okay. It's not about that. To me, it's really not. I mean, like I said, I don't care what religion anybody is. I honestly don't. I don't care, about any of that type of stuff. When you do something like that, what they did, then yeah, I'm going to stand with Israel in that situation. Absolutely. Now, if Israel had gone over, let's just be honest, right? If Israel had gone over first and went into, the West Bank and just started killing people for no reason whatsoever, right? Just because they can, and then Hamas was trying to get revenge, then I would be like, it's justified. But you got to understand this too, or the Gaza Strip. Yes, I'm sorry, Gaza Strip. What you have to understand is this: these people over there have been fighting each other for thousands of years, thousands of years, and there is. It's never going to change until one of them is eradicated. I mean, that's reality. That's the reality. Israel is highly outnumbered. Thank goodness they have us, the United States, for support and the backing and the amount of money that we send to them each year, and they have good weapons. And um, again, Israelis are no joke. They're no joke, and so. But it's just, but yeah, how I have no compassion for those millions who celebrated the slaughter of the Hamas. Exactly, for them either. So I just don't. You know, anybody that's going to celebrate them killing little children, they get what they get. They get what they deserve. And if Israel decides to razz that area, burn it to the ground, and kick everybody out, oh well. Again, to the victor goes the spoils, right? So there we go. I did hear about that one plant stopping 5.56 ammo production. Actually, they're not stopping the 5.56 ammo production, Dawn. They are not selling it to the public anymore. So they're not doing that. They said children died in Iraq, then 1 million died. There was a lot of women and children were killed in Iraq. Um, guys, I want you to think about this. I mean, let's break it down, right? Who kills more people than anybody else? Realistically, we do. The United States of America. Um, I'll always go back to the thing, and there's how many other drone strikes have there been? And by the way, if who can tell me the president that had more drone strikes during his presidency than anybody else? Can you tell me who that is? Because I can tell you who it is. I know who it was. Which president had more drone strikes than anybody else? Yep, Obama. That is correct. Obama. He was the one that had more drone strikes during his presidency than any other president. And I love the term. This is one of my favorite terms because it's so generalized. Collateral damage. You know what collateral damage means, folks? Collateral damage is we got the bad guy that we were trying to kill, right? Oh yeah, but we killed a bunch of women and children along with it. But well, that's collateral damage. That's what collateral damage is, you know. So I always the wording that they use needs to be taken into context when they do these things. It's something to think about. So, but Gaza is a prison, dude. So you blame the prisoners for rioting. I'm okay. Well, I guess obviously, whatever. If they don't see, here's the thing: with Gaza's not a prison, right? No, no, no. Don't. He has a right to have his say. So it's not a troll alert. Nope, nope. It's not a troll alert. Let's not go jumping to conclusions. It's not a prison because they can leave if they want to. A prison, you're not able to leave. So if they choose not to leave, that is their choice. I'll give you an example of what self-imposed prison. Let's go with a self-imposed prison. You know what? I'm a combat veteran, guys. They cannot leave without an Israeli pass. I don't know the ins and outs of it, Corpsman. I don't. So no, I'm not asking anybody to block you or take you out of here. You have the right to your say, and I'm going to let you have your say, and that's perfectly fine. I can't say that you're correct or not incorrect. I don't know. I don't know how it goes. Okay, I really don't. But a self-imposed prison would be New York State, where people are in New York State. Where I was in New York State, as you guys know, anybody that watches the channel knows I'm from New York, right? I love Rule King. Yes, been to Rule King many, many times already. In New York State, people complain. They piss and moan. The taxes are high. The weather sucks. Oh my God, I can't believe this. The politicians suck. The whole 9 yards, right? Do nothing to complain, but then don't do nothing about it. They never leave because their roots are there. They're tied there. There's family there. They won't go anywhere. And that's what happens, okay? That's what happens. So that's a self imposed prison because even though they're going to sit there and complain and they're never going to leave. They're never going to leave, um, you know? So 100 million to Gaza, billions to Iran, and the Ukraine, Hawaiian residents after losing their home, $700. Yeah, well, there's clearly an issue happening there, you know. But Egypt is taking in 2,000 daily now. Okay, I found Waldo just said that. I don't. Like I said, to me, you have a choice. Oh, there's always a choice, and if they want to, they're trying to. To me, I look at it this way: they're trying to play the victim when they're the ones, and it's you know, if it is a prison, you know, I don't know. I just feel that there's always ways to get out if you want to get out. I mean, you look at in Germany, right? You had the Berlin Wall. They put the wall up so the East Germans couldn't escape, and they still, tried to escape. Half of Gaza is under 18 years of age. I have no idea. No idea if that's a true statement or not. But anyway, going back to the whole thing with that company with that. Okay, um, they're not they basically sell 30% of all the 5.56 rounds to the civilian population. They said they're not going to do it anymore. So Mountain Man says Israel and Palestine have a treaty. Israel gave them the West Bank to live in if they would live in peace. Well, apparently that's not the case, right, Mountain Man? So again, I'm sorry, but I'm a hardline kind of guy. I don't have a lot of sympathy when people do things and then play the victim. I just don't. I really don't. Now, the whole hospital thing. We all heard about the hospital thing, right? Uh, Ed, what amazes me that people don't know how close we are to saying it won't happen here. Also, oh, it could absolutely happen here. Absolutely, it could happen here. You know, you know, things that can happen elsewhere can absolutely happen here 2014 blew up a hospital. This is not the first time. Who knows who did the hospital? To be honest with you, if it was Israel, okay. So let me ask you this: why does Hamas have their weapons and all that stuff stored in hospitals and in schools, right? So, think about that. Something to think about, right? So if they're not, willing to sacrifice, apparently, who know? Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm not there, and obviously, corpsman, you're not there either. Okay, we can sit here and we can speculate and we can say whatever we want to say. It really doesn't mean a thing. But the reality is this: you have a situation where unprovoked attack happened. Let's go. Hospital story debunked today. I did see that as well. That they said that it was actually another fraction or faction that did that. But anyway, you have this group of people, unprovoked, realistically, attacked, killed a whole bunch of people. Yeah, they hide behind women and children. Absolutely, they do it all the time. But you know, realistically, in war, nobody wins. That's reality. Nobody wins in a war. People die. Innocent people die. It happens all the time. It's going to continue to happen. And just because the United States really on our own soil, other than the Civil War when we fought each other, right? And how many Americans died killing other Americans in that one, right? Brother against brother, that situation. Um, we have not been attacked on our own soil. We have not suffered realistically, okay? An isolated attack here and there, that's not war. That's not a situation where, you know, children are starving and people are being killed and all those type of stuff. The War of 1812, they attacked here. Okay. Well, then I'm wrong on that one. Then I apologize. But modern day, right? Modern day. Let's. I'll change what I'm saying. So I'm wrong, obviously. War of 1812, we got attacked here. Okay. But yeah, the British, right? Absolutely I forgot about that. Asif, you're 100% correct. So my bad on that one. But Americans could not handle war here, in my opinion. Oh, I think that we could. I believe that we could. I mean, let's put it like this: in the cities, you're right. They can't handle it. They're not ready for it. They wouldn't know what to do. They lose their minds. They lose their minds. But if the battle came out to the country, those people are of a different breed. You know what I mean? Those people are of a different breed. Right, we would be fine. You awake the sleeping giant. It would be wild. Yeah, and it would be a mistake because they're not just fighting the military. Anybody that would come here to the United States and try to take us would not be just fighting the military. They would be fighting millions of armed Americans. And again, how many times do I got to say this one, right? That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to disarm us. They want to disarm us because it makes us weaker. And it's our own government trying to do that, right? If I'm able to defend myself and protect my family when somebody attacks my country, do you think I'm not going to defend or fight against them, fight against that tyranny? But if you disarm us, like they've done in the UK, like they've done in Australia, oh yeah, like they did in Germany, right? Remember that when that happened? And how did that work out for the German people, right? How did that work out for them? It ain't happening here, okay? I honestly believe, and I'll just put it out here. Yeah, Israel too. They disarmed their own people, and look what happened. That's what happened when you disarm the people. People, bad guys with guns, can come in and do whatever they want to do. But yeah, it's just people have no idea, realistically, the horrors of war because here, I mean, in the United States, we really haven't suffered it. We haven't. And I absolutely do believe there are sleeper cells in this country right now, just waiting, and they'll do what they're going to do. When the time comes, they're going to do what they're going to do, and it'll be bad, you know. And like I said again, was it Teddy Roosevelt, if I'm not mistaken? Walk softly and carry a big stick. That's a lot of America. Um, that is a lot of America, and I'm not talking. I am not talking about your Antifa and BLM and those little pissant organizations that really do nothing, right? And they act like they're tough guys. We're talking about the real Americans out there, the 9 to 5 working hard men and women that make this country what it is. Not the bleeding hearts that want to give everything away and want to have all kinds of different adjectives and pronouns for everything. Not those people, because those people won't lift a finger for nothing. So, uh, well, there, EV3 Dale says, Israel is willing to live and let live. The Arab world was not willing to let Israel live, period. You're correct. They want them destroyed. That's the reality of it. So, but, it's just, like I said, it's, at the end of the day, war solves nothing. Innocent people die on both sides. It's a horrible thing, but it's a reality of war. Like I said, in drone strikes, you don't hear about it really in here. I mean, if you remember, I hope you guys remember, because I see different things and I remember different things. Um, so there was the situation with this atrocious pullout of Afghanistan, which we made sure that we gave the bad guys the timetable of when we would be leaving, which I think is really just beyond stupid. The amount of military equipment we left behind, which again is beyond stupid. Uh, so they have the bombing at the airport. So they believe the mastermind is Joe Blow, whoever this guy was, that they believe to be the mastermind of the bombing at the airport. So what did they do, right? Not only did they kill him, but they killed his family. They killed women and children, right? And then lo and behold, oops, sorry, not the guy. My bad, right? How do you think that went over there? I'm just curious. I mean, how would you feel? How would you feel if somebody you loved was surrounded by his family, was targeted by the great superpower of the world, and killed? Do you think you'd be like, no, it was a mistake. They didn't mean to kill him and his entire family. Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll let that go, right? There's no way they're letting that go. And there's a lot of payback, in my opinion, coming back to the United States at some point in time. And there's people willing to do it. There's people willing to do it, and they don't care. Because they want that revenge, and it won't surprise me when it happens. It really won't. I think we'll all be shocked, if you will, but you know, it's a bad situation, and it happens, unfortunately. But yeah, embassies around the Middle East are being targeted. Of course they are. Of course it is. But you know, I wouldn't be, like I said. What Department of Homeland Security said that the threat of attacking his country is elevated. So that's not surprising either. That is not surprising either. And again, I mean, too many people suffer. Um, Young men and women die for no reason. For what, realistically? I mean, again, let's look at the conflict over there. What does it come down to? What does it come down to at the end of the day? Right? The Israelis against the Muslims. What's it come down to at the end of the day? It comes down to religion. You are not the religion that I like, so I want to kill you. That's what it comes down to. And it's insanity to me. That is the biggest, most insane thing ever, because isn't religion supposed to be about peace and love and caring about people. You would think, right? So it's just like I said, it goes on and on and on, and it doesn't change. It doesn't change. So what are we at? 356 in the chat, guys. We only got 160 thumbs up so far. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I thank you ahead of time for that. Really does make a big difference with the algorithms, and so I thank you for doing it for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And Islam is about domination, not love and peace. Well, yeah, I got you, Okie Forge. I got you. I've read, a lot of the stuff that is out there, and I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I mean, if you think about it, so here's a question that I would have. Okay, let's talk about this for a second, and tell me what you think. And if war breaks out, what is the first thing that you would do? Neighbor Bob, I've talked about this. You're talking about here in the United States? If we're attacked here? If we were, I'm going to take it you're talking about being attacked here in the United States. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get my family to me as quickly as they can. I want my people to come here as quickly as they can, because we're going to be here and we're going to take care of each other. We're going to watch out for each other. That would be my number one priority, is making sure that my people, my family is safe. That's my job, so that's what I'm doing first thing. If we had, if we had to get out and and try to get as much things as we could ahead of time, then absolutely we would try to do that. But hopefully, we would be in a position. See, the ultimate goal, honestly, with all these situations, with prepping and getting ready, when the situation happened, when the time came, it's a matter that we're in good shape, that we're ready to go, hopefully, and we're going to, get everybody here and then take care of our business. Now, I'm not going to share with you what our plans are, how we decide to do anything, or what we're going to do. I obviously I'm not going to share any of that with you guys, but I've said before, and I will say this again: when the time comes, and if it's a worst case situation, and we're in a really desperate situation where people are, what if you get stormed by over 100 people? So that's a great question, Larry, and I do want to address that. So let's talk about. All right, let's say I have 30 members here at the homestead. We're going to use that number. And here comes this group of 100 people. Now, timing is going to be a big part of this, okay? Let's talk about the timing of it. So let's say it is 8 months down the road. SHTF has happened, and finally this group of 100 people have now decided we're the next target. They're going to try and come and take our stuff, all right? So let's talk about a couple things with that, all right? Now, first of all, we've had 8 months to dig in, get ourselves squared away, know what we're doing. Most likely, we are getting regular sleep. We are refreshed because of that. Our minds are clear. We're not having to deal with sickness. We're not traveling, right? We're not having to jump from place to place to place. We're here, okay? The other thing that we would have is we wouldn't have to be dealing with weather, other than the fact that if it's raining, we want to have to be laying low wherever we are in our strategic locations and stuff like that. We're going to be hopefully well fed. That's another thing, right? This army of 100 people coming to try and take what we have, most likely 8 months down the road, they're going to be exhausted. They're going to be sleep deprivation, not getting enough sleep. The weather is going to play a factor with how they're feeling, dealing with bugs, dealing with cold, dealing with rain, dealing with heat. All those things are absolutely a factor, okay? They're probably not going to be eating regular, so they're not going to have the strength or the energy for any kind of long, drawn out thing. So that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for a quick hit, get in, do what they got to do, and get out. Uh, Most of those people are probably not going to be militarily trained. They're not going to be ready for a group that's organized, squared away, and ready for them. It would real, and I'm not going to say it'll be like shooting ducks in a barrel, but the odds would be absolutely in the favor of somebody who controls the high ground. Little Round Top. Anybody remember what Little Round Top was? Do you remember what Little Round Top was? Anybody history buffs out there, right? If you own the high ground, strategic advantage of owning the high ground is huge. Gettysburg, you are 100% correct. Yep. In Gettysburg, the Union got into that area, Little Round Top, and they dug in and they were there. And the Confederates, instead of circumventing Little Round Top and going around it and saying screw them and keep them hemmed up and penned in there, they decided to try to take that. The losses, the Confederates lost ridiculous amounts of people trying to take Little Round Top, which they did not. Okay, superior numbers, it doesn't matter. Yep, Devil's Den. Yep, it was a slaughterhouse. Absolutely. So, if you control the high ground, you have people that are organized, squared away, ready for you. Well rested, well fed. The advantages just go on and on and on. And if somebody's sick, they're being able to be isolated away, so they're not getting everybody else sick. If you got this, oh, never underestimate determined, desperate. Dale, you're 100% correct. But the reality is this. Okay, so let's talk about this a little more. You're right. A determined, desperate group. Nothing is more dangerous, and I've said this before. Nothing is more dangerous than someone who is desperate and scared. Okay? Desperate and scared. That is the most scariest person in an SHTF event because they have nothing to lose. But the reality is, if they go up against an entrenched enemy that controls the high ground, who knows what kind of training they've had or if they've had any training at all. What if they're trained soldiers Chinese? Now we're speculating. Now you're speculating. Who knows what it would be? Hopefully, where I am located, guys, I picked this location very strategically for a reason. It's off the beaten path. You have really got to go out of your way to get here in the first place. And the reality is, most bands of marauders, if you will, in a post event are going to be looking for easy targets. No, I know what you're saying. You're just curious. I can't say what would happen. I can't say what would happen. But I'm just telling you that there are advantages that make a big difference in a situation, especially in that type of situation. The health of your troops is huge. The morale of your troops is huge. And there's a big difference, okay, between raiding the farmhouse and having, maybe 3 or 4 people shooting at you, and taking that out, right? Taking them out, as opposed to going up against a well-armed group that knows what they're doing and is ready for you. There's a big difference in that. And, you start picking people off from concealment and they can't shoot you back because they don't know where you are or how you're hiding and all those type of things. I mean, the enemy doesn't know the landscape right. So they have that disadvantage as well. And, you're going to create killing zones realistically. So if the enemy's coming and they're, and again, it would depend on the situation, So, but again, you just have to, you do the best you can, you prepare the best you can, and you try to get every tactical advantage that you possibly can have. And, that's what I'm always looking for. And that's why I picked this location where it is, because there's not a ton of people, number one. Number two, it's off the beaten path, and that was what I wanted as well. Number three, we own the high ground. So, coming up to get us would be very, very difficult, even if they were skilled soldiers. Um, I mean, you look at the losses our guys took in the Pacific with trying to take those different mountains and stuff like that when they were, island hopping on their way. And yeah, did we end up winning those? Yeah, but by just sheer numbers, and they were people that were not getting supplies and they weren't ready, and we had all the supplies and we could just pour it on, and we had air superiority and we could bomb the crap out of them. I mean, there's a lot of examples of that type of situation. Who knows what we would be looking at? In a year after an SHTF event, there's not going to be a whole lot of people around anymore, and generally at that point, the people that are around are going to be pretty tough, and most likely roving bands of people that are out looking to cause trouble and looking to cause problems, they're going to skip an organized group that knows what they're doing, because word is going to get out. Honestly, word would get out. Those people up there, don't screw with them because they'll just butcher you. And that's what you have to do. That's the hard line you have to take. And honestly, guys, if you're not ready to do that, if you're not ready to do what is necessary, you're not going to last long. I mean, but it's a different situation, and like I said, I'm not cocky, and I'm not trying to be cocky, but I'm always looking for an advantage. I'm always looking for that edge, and if I can have that edge, then it's a whole different ball game when somebody starts shooting back at you. When you've had the superior forces and done those type of things, that's one thing. But when you got people that know what they're doing and they're firing back at you, and so it just like I said again, it's a whole different ball game. But yeah, a whole lot of entitled people are going to lose their minds and crumble. You're 100% correct. Oh, ingenuity. The Japanese were amazing with what they did, and they were tough. I mean, they were tough. They were, they wouldn't give up. I mean, and think about it. Would you, if you're on your way to your home country and you know that you're one of those lines in the sand that they have to take to be able to, attack mainland China, or I mean Japan, mainland Japan? You're going to fight to the death. It's for your family. It's for and they really had them to where that they felt like they had to. So it's those are things that people don't think about. Desperate times. I mean, like I said, it's just the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. Put yourself in situations to win. That's all I'm looking for, guys. I'm like anybody else. I'm looking for every tactical advantage that I can get. I'm looking to have superior numbers. I'm looking to have people that I can count on, that I know that are going to have my back because I'm going to have their back. Those are all things. That you have to think about and you plan. And, people have talked on here about booby traps. Absolutely, there would be booby traps. The woods would be loaded with booby traps. So, it's not like you're going to have to give them a clear path to walk up. And if there is a clear path and you know what that clear path is, right? Tell me you're not, you're not going to be concentrating your firepower on that area. You would be. So, those are just things. It's just something to think about. But again, things go sideways. I've said this before. I plan on going nowhere. Plan on going nowhere. Hopefully, the people that love me and care about me and my group, they can all get here. And I hope my family gets here. If they don't, I can't. See, here's the thing. I think what people really haven't wrapped their mind around yet, and I want you to think about this because I think about all of it. Believe me, I eat, live, sleep, and breathe prepping and thinking about things and what we would have to do and how things would have to be done. Everyone out here, you're a prepper, right? Presumably, watching my channel, you're probably into prepping to some degree. Here's a sad fact that's going to happen in an SHTF event. We're all going to lose loved ones. We're all going to lose people that we care about. And what you have to decide is what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Are you going to lay down and die because somebody you cared about was didn't make it, you're going to have to, it sounds terrible, but you're going to have to suck it up. You're going to have to toughen up, turn it into what it needs to get turned into. Red Dawn, remember? Turn it, Maddie, turn it into, don't cry, all that stuff. That was all bravado and stuff like that. But, yes, Jeff, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of things we have been talking about, planning on. Uh, there's a lot of things available that we would utilize. I will just put it like that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not really going to get into what our plans are and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, because that would be just stupid. You know what I mean? So, but again, it's just you would have to you'd have to do what you had to do. But is there a biggest prepping mistake that you ever made? Oh, that's a great question. I've made a lot of mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes with my solar. You know what I mean? But this hasn't been discussed. How would you bury a person? We wouldn't be the lamb's light. People would be cremated. You wouldn't be able, especially up here. You're not digging graves up here. You need that land for other things. People would have to be cremated. That's the way that you would have to dispose of people. Or realistically, and it sounds terrible, it's a realistic thing. Um, you would feed them to the pigs. There you go. So that's what you would have to do. Hopefully, you would burn your own. The people that you cared about, you would burn them, and your enemies, you would feed to the pigs. So, I mean, that sounds really bad, but that's reality. So, because the pigs still got to eat, and they will take care of that issue for you, so you don't have to worry about it. The smell alone, with rotting dead bodies all over the place, would not be any kind of fun. So, but you know, but anyway, no, I've made a tremendous amount of mistakes. I've made a ton of mistakes with solar. Um, Storing food, I've made mistakes early on. I made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot. Honestly, I've been doing this since what, 2005. Um, I've learned a lot. Absolutely, have learned a lot, and it's with what we're doing down here and the preparedness that we're doing down here. It's good. I mean, we're going in the right direction. We're getting a lot accomplished. And again, guys, I have no idea how much time we have. No idea how much time we have. But with every building that we get put in here, and every trip down that members make, and they bring more supplies down, um, it puts us that much closer. That each step that's being done, each step being accomplished, puts us closer to being in a really good situation, to be prepared to do what we need to do when the time comes. And that's, uh, guys, if you want to ask a question, all cap locks, please. It really makes it better. It stands out better for me. So I appreciate that ahead of time. So, but no, people realistically, have you ever gone? You ever been driving, right? And let's say there's a roadkill. Something's been killed on the side of the road. And smelled that smell. Uh, could you imagine how bad that would be on a large scale basis? Let's say you were in a city, right? If you were in a city and there's dead bodies all over the place and nobody's disposing of them because nobody's going to be there to dispose of them, right? Nobody's going to go around saying, "Oh, we need to clean these all up." They're going to leave those bodies to rot, and the smell is going to be atrocious. Dead people in apartments all over the place. So, um, you have to think about those type of situations. So, advice on burying a small food cache on my land, please. Okay, what I would suggest with that, honestly, if you know, you can. There's all kinds of things that you can bury. All right, and it really depends on what you want to do. You could bury them in plastic. Plastic can be compromised, right? If you bury them in metal, over time, that metal's going to break down. So, what you could do to elongate that and make things last, dig out an area, reinforce it with plastic and those type of things. Line the whole thing. Have your cache of what you want to have inside that. Put it in that hole, and then seal that the best way that you possibly can, and then rebury it. And maybe only a couple of people know exactly where that cache is. Now, if you have a cache, it shouldn't be just food. You should have the way so the way when I do a cache, yeah, we'll do egg count, JJ, in just a second. I just want to talk about this real quick. The way that I do a cache, it I look at it like, okay, if I came on my cache and I was butt naked, what would I need? And that's how I prepare my cache. I put clothes, backpack, boots, a weapon, ammo, water purification, a pan to be able to boil water. All those things that you think you would need if you were butt naked, ways to start a fire, right? Matches, all that type of stuff, lighters, whatever the case may be. Those are the things that you have to think about. All right, so I'm going to take a drink first, real quick, before we do this. Again, I'm going to ask for a thumbs up. We're at 406 in the chat. We got 240 thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I do appreciate that as well. Also, again, it really does make a huge difference with the algorithm. So the more interaction, the better. And I do appreciate that as well. Again, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So, how many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck starting now. So give you guys a moment to get your guesses on there, and we will go from there. But yeah, like I said, I've used a PVC pipe, the 2-inch pipe, sealed one end, and then you have the screw cap on the other end. I have used that as a cache. I've used the big plastic things that you screw the top on that you can get them. They're pretty thick. When I do that, what I normally do is, I don't know what's going on with my eye, but it's itchy. What I normally do is I put everything in like contractor garbage bags. So like I'll vacuum seal stuff, right? So I'll vacuum seal pants, shirts, socks, whatever, all those type of things, long johns, because it sucks them down and makes them smaller. Then I put that inside of a contractor garbage bag and seal that up again. So you got layer upon layer upon layer of protection of your stuff, of your gear. So when you have to go to that, it's there, it's going to be ready, and those type of things. Make sure you have a knife there. Make sure you have water purification. I would have some antibiotics of some sort. Oh, maybe, I don't know. If I were to use fish mocks, I may have fish mocks in there, because you never know, those type of things. So just a few things to think about. There's always a million things to think about. I would make sure I had a plastic tarp in there, right, to use for cover, those type of things. So make sure you have a pack, some kind of pack that you can put all the stuff in your cache in that pack, and so you can carry it away. All right, so if you had the same exact guess as Dawn Hill, who had 4 eggs today and no for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. Too bad we didn't have the egg count yesterday, because nobody would have guessed the egg count yesterday. Yesterday, there were no eggs yesterday. But today, there was 4 and no for Miss Thickneck. So Dawn Hill is the winner. So congratulations, Dawn, for winning. Hey, Troy, treat for Hella. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we actually had, speaking of pig, we had pork this weekend when everybody was here. And so there was leftover pork. So last couple nights, me and Miss Hella have been having pork. So very, very good, by the way. So, and no, they were not, fattened up by human consumption. So holy crap! Thanks, it only took me a year. See, perseverance, Don. Perseverance. There you go. But anyway, so yeah, that's funny. But anyhow, like I said, it's just there's so much that goes into different things, and you just have to think about things and put yourself in that mindset. What would I need? What would I want? And just kind of go from there. And if you do that, you're going to be just fine. Just planning. It's all planning, and it's all sitting down and like I said, and that's why when I try to put a cache together, again, and I'll say this again, I visualize myself being butt naked if I had to be, which hopefully you wouldn't be, but if you were, and you came upon your cache, what would you want to have in that cache? And so obviously you want food in there as well. So make sure you're putting, I would have freeze dried food in there because it's got a nice long shelf life. I would have some dry pack goods in there too, rice and beans, something like that, as well. But absolutely first aid stuff, yes, absolutely. That's why I did say antibiotics. But you know, where are people finding wood stoves for their cabins? There, good question, Morning Light. I know that like Rob ordered his online. I don't know if Bud has ordered his yet. It's Mark actually got his wood stove. It was like an heirloom that his grandfather had, and so that was actually cool. And so now he has it here, and but yeah, you want to make sure that you have, is what you now what you also have to think about when you have your cash. If you're alone by yourself and there's nobody else there, how much stuff are you going to have there? Now you got to hump it out of there, right? You got to carry it with you when you go. So that has to be taken into consideration as well. Picked up mine from Marketplace on Facebook. It needed some work, but it's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, if you can pick a, there's always deals, Allie. I'm glad that you were able to do that. That's awesome. There's always deals out there, and it depends on the size of the area you're trying to heat too. Like where the wood stove that Mark has in his cabin. Okay, the wood stove that he has in there is perfect for that space because it's not too big and it's going to kick off enough heat to keep that cabin very warm. I can almost guarantee you that Mark will have his windows open in the middle of winter, or at least cracked, once he has that wood stove going. Almost guarantee it. He'll be in that situation where he'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm getting baked out of here." That's a better problem to have than freezing, to me. So, but what can a person use if they don't have access to a gun or a rifle to protect themselves? Obviously, knives are one thing. Slingshots are another thing that you could utilize. There are, be proficient with throwing knives. Learn how to use a bow, compound bow or, a long bow, whatever, way you want to do that. Yeah, the purpose of the one in the pavilion is for heat and also for cooking. So that, yeah, crossbow is another thing. Yeah, but you know, there's definitely all kinds of ways to protect yourself. The last thing you want to be dealing with is close combat, especially if the other person's bigger and stronger. So if you can neutralize them before they get to you, that's what you want to try to do. You know, so. But yeah, there's all kinds of options out there that you can utilize. So, but yeah, heat and eat. That's right. That wood stove in the pavilion. Now it takes a while. I'll tell you what. It definitely takes a while because you're talking about a lot of cast iron. But we had it the first time that we utilized it. Uh, The first time that we utilized it, it was we got that the wood stove part where you cook. That was up over 400 degrees. So I mean, it's definitely will heat up, and and stuff like that. Night vision is not a bad thing to have. I would highly recommend having night vision. Yep. Uh, Again, any tactical advantage that you can have, the better. Knowing the ground that you're defending is really important. Knowing your escape routes. You don't want to think about having to escape, but you may have to. You may have to run. If you have to run, know where you're going to go, know what you got to do, because you may be able to counterattack, and those type of things. Body armor, yep. If you can get body armor, I highly recommend that as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You know, look at what the Vietnamese did with the tunnel systems. If you got a tunnel system, and I want you to think about this, you think, oh my God, that because what we're doing, right, we're making the bunker, and it's difficult, right? But here's the thing, folks. If you got nothing but time, if you got nothing but time, it's amazing what you can get accomplished with time and effort, right? So, um, you build a bunker system, and you be able to travel from different places without having to pop up and be exposed, and those type of things. Yeah, know your choke points. Absolutely. There, you want to try to funnel them into an area that you have a killing zone. That's the idea. You make it so difficult to come in other ways via booby traps, via the high ground, whatever the case may be. You leave one way that they can come in that you control and that you have the power over that area. And that then you lay down hell upon them, realistically. How are you going to cover the opening of the underground? Well, Rhonda, if I told you that, then you would know. Um, Again, there's going to be. I'll put it like this. Just the game plan is to have more than one way in and out of the bunker. I will just put it like that. You need to have more than one way in and out of the bunker, because otherwise you have a tomb. If you just have one way in or not, you just have a tomb. So you definitely need to think about that, plan ahead, plan accordingly. Um, so, again, like I said, when we continue to do what we do down here, some things you'll see, some things you won't see, you know. But it's just, you know, yeah, like I said, having dogs is important too. Dogs are a nice early warning system. They let you know what's going on. When you can't hear, they hear. And they will become in tune with you as far as that type of thing goes, especially in a situation that's a bad situation. So, and I know this is going to sound bad as well, but guess what? When you dispatch your enemies, right, which is a really nice way of saying kill your enemies, but I'll just use dispatch. Um, they can also be fed to the dogs as well. It's meat. Dogs are going to eat meat. They don't care. Okay, they won't care because they're going to be hungry just like everybody else. So you do what you have to do. I mean, you want to obviously try to plan ahead and have enough that you can feed your animals. But again, if meat is available for them, obviously I wouldn't recommend humans eating other humans. I hope that that never comes to that. But they can be fed to the animals, and that may sound horrible and harsh, but you're going to have to do what you got to do. Uh, Mine definitely do too, and they sound different when it's a danger to them. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. No, one of the reasons, like I said, with her, she just came out of heat too, so I did not want puppies in the wintertime. So when she goes into heat in the spring, I do plan on breeding her, and I do plan on keeping at least two of her pups. Absolutely, I'm keeping at least two of them. I would like if other members in the group want one of the puppies as well. Then we have a nice pack. And when the time comes, that's another layer of protection for the property. And the group. So, you take care of your dogs, you do what you got to do, and and they earn their way. So, what if she only has two puppies? Well, then I guess I keep both, JJ. Or I don't know, Captain Moon said that. Sorry. So, but yeah, if that's the case, that's what's going to happen. But hopefully, she has a nice litter, and we'll go from there. But anyway, what was I going to say? The first of all, well, that I would only actually get one because uh, the male dog, the owners would get pick of the litter. So, but most likely she would, she might have six or eight generally. So, but don't feed into them, Dale. It's not worth it. They thrive on attention. So if we ignore them and let the moderators take care of what they need to take care of, please don't feed into them because that just gives them their jollies. So just let our moderators take care of the people that they need to take care of, and that's it. Okay, so I appreciate that. So anyway, all right, let's what are you at 363 in the chat. We're at 288 on the thumbs up. Again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that ahead of time, and thank you very much. Also, it does make a huge difference with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction, the better it is for the channel. So I do appreciate it for that way as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so we're going to start out with Heavenly Hills Homestead, growing giant vegetables. Got some interesting videos coming up, so definitely check him out as well. You have Icky Can up in Canada, real good guy up there. His garden did really well this year. He's getting big production, and he's doing his thing up there. So definitely check him out. You have Angry Prepper, that's Jason down in New York City. You have Alaska Prepper, that's Rudy, good guy as well. So definitely check him out. A lot of good information on his channel. There's Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, two different channels, same guy. Really amazing builder, living up in Canada, doing his thing up there. So definitely check him out as well. You have Demcad, again, another solid guy, a lot of good information on his channel. You have Corporal's Corner. There's Bjorn Hansen. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. There is Bizarriza Jizza with the Carrington Chronicles. It's a really interesting story, and you can get some good tips from that story. You have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. There is Magic Prepper in North Dakota. You have Wranglestar, that's Cody. A lot of good information on his channel. You can really get a lot of good tips there. Red Poppy Ranch. There's Survival Lily over in Europe, to let you know what's going on over there. There's Kyle's Cabin with Kyle and Sierra up in Minnesota, doing their thing up there. You have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband-wife team, two different channels, splitting their time between Michigan and Alaska. There is Green Greg's, another channel with a lot of good information over there, so definitely check out Green Greg's. You have Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. Again, good information with him as well, and he's giving you updates of what's going on. There's Gray Man Prepping. There's Truly Tara 76. She has a makeup channel. I would ask you to go and support her. She's a really good person, and definitely check her out. You have Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy have been around a long time. A lot of useful information on their channel as well. You have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. Nice young couple down there. You have the Green Dream Project out in Arizona, showing you what it's like to live in the desert, which is not easy. So really good information there. Camping with Steve Wallace. He does stealth camping. You have Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works. You have the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time. Really good channel. A lot of good information with her channel as well. Boss of the Swamp, an amazing builder as well. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. I think Diamond is amazing. Very, very smart guy. A lot of good information on his channel. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer. A lot of information with the sun and everything going on there. Bear Independent. You have the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. You have Mary Greeley News. Mary Greeley gives you all the latest information of what's going on with Yellowstone and everything there. There is Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. There is Ice Age Farmer. You have Ryan Hall Y'all. If you're going to get your weather, Ryan Hall is the guy to get your weather from. Very passionate about the weather, but he also gives back to the community in a big way as well, and that is awesome. There's Russell Brand. I like Russell Brand. He gives you the information. He lets you decide what you want to do with it. And he's pissing off big governments, which I love that as well. So I think that's always fun. Deep South Homestead, another very good channel, very family oriented channel. You have The Outsider up in Maine. There is The Fit Farmer. You have Prep Rebel. There is Simple Life Reclaimed. You have Town Sense showing you what it's like to live in the 1800s. There's a lot of good information with that, so definitely check that out as well. You have The Prepared Mind. There is Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. There is The Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Griddy. So there's a lot of good information out there. There's a lot of good channels. I would encourage you all to check out different things, to talk to different people and stuff like that. Okay, so just something to think about. And again, you guys put other guests or other channels in here that you like as well, and that's perfectly fine. I can't give a shout out to everybody, so but I think we should be supporting each other, and that's why I do the shout outs. So a lot of good information out there. We should look at different viewpoints, and I think that's important as well. So that's why I do what I do. So, but anyhow, let me take another drink here real quick. But going back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier about mistakes, as a prepper, if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. I mean, and that's the reality of it. You don't know it's broken until you have to fix it, right? So, again, I've talked about this before, and I think it's important. Practical practice is really important. Learning what works, what doesn't work. And Alaska Prepper recommended this channel. Thanks, Rudy. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you came over. Yeah, Rudy's a good guy. Rudy is absolutely a good guy. So, but you know, you learn from your mistakes, and until you try things out, you find out what works and what doesn't work. Again, strictly just if I just went with my solar system, what I've learned over the course of the years with solar is unbelievable. And you find out, it always comes down to wants and needs. Always comes down to wants and needs. What do I want and what do I need? And so those are things you have to think about as well. So, it's always, I tried to explain to somebody one time, and I always ask people, I said, what does living off grid mean to you? When you hear somebody say they live off grid, what do you think that means? And so, they'll give me their explanation of what they think living off grid means. And I always told them this. I said, listen, I live off grid. I said, and I want everything everybody else wants. I want to have my power. I want to have my hot shower. I want to have all those things. I said, I just don't want to have to pay somebody else to get it. I want to be as independent as I possibly can, and that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. So, that's just something to think about. And that's just where I am with that one. You just, you can think what you want to think. You can do what you want to do. To me, you know, I want my transition to the world as we know it now, and when the world goes up in flames, if you will, I don't want my transition, other than the fact that I don't have internet or phone service anymore. I don't want it to be a lot different than it is now. So other than having to come together and protect what we have and those type of things. So those are the things that I think about when it comes to trying to be as free as I possibly can be. How can people keep in contact with you if we lose power or YouTube? Well, I mean, you really can't. If it comes to that point where there's no power and there's no internet, we're all in trouble. SHTF is started if we get to that point. So, how will you heat water for the shower? That's a great question, Rhonda. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. In the summertime, you can get something in a black tank, and it will heat up, but you won't. So you can go that route. They have the shower bags; you can heat that way as well. If it is an SHTF event, you're always going to probably have a fire going pretty much nonstop, so you can always heat water up on a stove like that as well. You can use a copper wire and wrap it around your, pipe in that way, and use that to heat water as well. So there's a lot of different ways to heat water, and it's just a matter of you know doing it whatever way. Like I said, I mean, the options are there. If you're, like I said, again, if you're prepared enough and you're ready enough, you're probably going to have propane for quite a while. I'll give you an example with that. So, in New York, I have a 330-gallon propane tank. Right? Everybody knows that. Anybody who's watched the channel knows I got a 330-pound propane tank in New York. In a year, and we just use the propane for hot water. Okay, so taking a shower every single day, we would go through about 40 gallons of propane a year. So that's not bad. That's not bad. So they only come once a year. They come in June and they fill our tank, and it's about 40 gallons of propane. And so realistically, 330 gallons or pounds or whatever. It's gallons, right? Am I saying that right? No, pound. 20 pounds. It's pounds. My brain is not working. I apologize. Because you got your 20-pound tanks, you got your 30-pound tanks, and you have your 100-pound tanks. So we go through 40 pounds a year up in New York. You taking showers every day. So how many years would that tank last? It'll last a long time. So if you take that into consideration, and what am I going to use the hot water or the propane for? Well, if you just want to use it for hot water, then that's how you do it. So, but all right. So let's do this. Where are we at here? I'm trying to think. Okay. My brain is going. I apologize. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the world. We're all over the country. Where is everybody from tonight? So let's go ahead and do that. We got Bubba One up in Michigan, Daniel in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Dayton, Ohio with Rhonda, West Coast of Florida with Kit, Missouri and the Ozarks with Delbert, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house, Edgewater, Florida with Judy, Fayetteville, North Carolina with Carol. We got Connecticut in the house with Awesome Sauce, Waterloo, New York with Sharon, Nowhere, Oklahoma with Okie Forge, Leesburg, Florida with Joan, the UP of Michigan with Dawn, Palatka, Idaho with Janita, Nola down in New Orleans, Wanda, Minnesota with Angela, the beautiful Pennsylvania Wilds with Pennsyltucky Granny, Campbell, Missouri with Antonio, Medina, Tennessee with Marcia, Ohio with T, Northern Virginia with Robert, Chloe, West Virginia with Betty, St. Augustine, Florida with Diane, Northwest Kentucky with Army Vet. We got Connecticut with Matt, Phoenix, Arizona with Queen. We have Washington State with Stormweather, Central Texas, Cape Cod, Mass, Adams, Kentucky with Don, Kearney, Nebraska with DJ, Raleigh, North Carolina with Prepared Family, East Central Illinois with Lana, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania with Melissa. We got BC, Canada with Janet in the house, Southeast Mass with Pappy Two Bears, West Virginia with Morning Light, Western New York with Karen. We got Maine with Penny, Eastern Ontario with Paul. We have West Central Ohio with Dale, Iowa along the Mississippi with, I'm not even sure how you're saying the Adipin vet. I'm not even sure. Bellevue, North Carolina with Tim, Critter Lover down in Virginia, uh, New Jerusalem with Rock 2, Troutman, North Carolina with Troy. So again, guys, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We're the ones that are awake, not woke, awake. And we got Betty down in Betty, Kentucky. Philly with Melchi. I probably said that wrong. I apologize. So, so again, let's see. We have, but again, we're the ones, like I said, that can make a difference now. We can make a difference afterwards as well. So, really important to be prepared as we possibly can. Tiny Titan up in Oregon, or a gun. Uh, so, but again, it's just control what you can control, guys. Keep prepping the best way that you possibly can, and you're going to be in better shape. Don't stop prepping. Get your plans in place, and do what you got to do. I think that that's important. Just be as prepared as you possibly can be. When the time comes, we are all going to have to act, and it's not a matter of reacting, because that's what most people are going to do. They're going to react. We got Sandy in Round Rock, Texas. Opie Girl down in Alabama. So, um, shoot me an email at preppernurse1@yahoo.com. That is the best way to get a hold of me. So, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. You guys are amazing, ladies and gentlemen, that moderate for me, and very much appreciated. And you take care of things, and like I said, it means a lot to me. I want to thank all you guys for being here and supporting the channel. I do enjoy these chats. Hopefully, you guys pick something up that you can utilize that helps you. I think that that is important that we share information that way as well. And like I said, it's very enjoyable for me. I really enjoy these, and I will tell you this though. I like my Mondays with my hardcore members. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. So, but anyway, appreciate the support. It really does mean a lot to me, and not going anywhere. Going to continue to be here, and with what we're doing down here, to me is amazing. It just shows you what can happen when people come together and work together. That's what we're showing, that it is possible. That all the crap that you hear, how all that can't work and this won't work. Well, it's working. So explain that one, right? So, but anyway, remember, folks, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. If we could ever figure that one out, and stop killing each other over stupid, nonsensical stuff like race, religion, political affiliation, it's all nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. Those things really don't mean a thing. If we could come together as human beings, there would be no stopping us of what we can do, honestly. So, it's a choice. You have to make that choice. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important that we tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel. Um, Life is short, and you don't get tomorrow back. Tomorrow is gone. So something to think about. Uh, I just got my phone back recently with your channel on it. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Also, remember, guys, most important one, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to accomplish, whatever you're trying to do in life, doesn't have to be about prepping, doesn't have to be about living off grid. It's whatever you're trying to do and accomplish. You can do it. The only person stopping you from achieving your goals is you. That's it, nobody else. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, they will happen. Um, and then you check it off the list, and then you make a new goal, and that's what's cool. That's what the best thing about it is. So just keep striving, do what you can do, and you guys are going to be just fine. All right. Stay away from the negative people out there that want to try to drag you down. They're sad and they're pathetic, and they're miserable. And so, it says misery loves company. Well, let's let them be alone. They can be miserable all by themselves. So stay positive and you're going to be just fine. So, guys, have a great night. I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.